Next speakers are Linda Zhang from the Hacker School, who the title of the paper they will presenting is Knowing You Don't Know, Learning When to Continue Search in Multi-Round Rack Through Self-Practicing. Let's welcome our speakers.
All right, so does it work? So we implemented and evaluated SIMRAG on 3 standard RAG data sets of increasing difficulty. The most simple is Trivia QA with a single hop retrieval. Next is 2 hop QA, and next is 2 wiki multi-hop, which is the most complex. We used EM, or exact match accuracy, as our main metric, and we compared SIMRAG against 8 open and closed source baselines. Naive generation directly calls the LLM. Standard RAG uses the initial input as the query and does 1 round of retrieval. And we include many other advanced methods which retrieve dynamically based on the LLM's information needs, supporting both single and multi-round retrieval. We find that SIMRAG outperforms all baselines when using GPT-4 without requiring full model fine-tuning. Another key observation is that on the single hop task, Trivia QA, standard RAG, highlighted in yellow with only 1 round of retrieval, outperforms all other more advanced and adaptive methods, except for SIMRAG, which is highlighted in green. And SIMRAG performs well because the critic learns to judge the LLM's information needs and adjust its search process accordingly, so it can support both simple and complex tasks. So we established the importance of the critic model, but what about the way it's trained? So when we compare a small learned critic model compared to a much larger pre-trained GPT-4 as critic, we find that training this small model leads to much higher performance than using GPT-4 critic for more complex tasks like HotPot-QA and 2Wiki. And this is demonstrating the importance of external feedback through the critic, as well as the power of the self-practicing inner monologue data. So what does one inner monologue in SIMRAG look like? So consider the question, when was the character Jack from this film born? So the LLM first hallucinates, leading the critic to reject the answer. Then it searches for the wrong actor, Sandra Bullock, so the critic still rejects the answer. Next, we get closer to the answer, finding the actor's real name, Bill Pullman, but there's still not enough information about this person's birth date. So using the past context, we finally finish the search by searching for his birth age, and we find it. And from there, the LLM gets a correct answer, and the critic, seeing the whole chain, knows to accept this answer. And this is because the critic has seen many similar examples of this chain before. So in summary, in dynamic information environments, we see that multi-round RAG struggles to judge information sufficiency. SIMRAG provides a practical and elegant solution as an effective and efficient add-on to any RAG system due to its easy adaptation, lightweight critic, and low-cost training. Looking ahead, the idea of SIM, which is inner monologue learning, extends beyond RAG. It enables the use of self-practice in models to generate fresh training data with intermediate reasoning steps. Crucially, it allows models to learn not only from common success patterns, but also common failure modes. We release all data open source on GitHub. Thank you for listening, and we'll open it to Q&A.
Okay, thanks our speakers.
Hello. I have a question.
Sorry.
When you're having this SIMRAG, what is the latency compared to a normal RAG? Because it can take many rounds, it seems.
Latency at inference time or training time?
No, when you're live asking a question, how long does it take before you get an answer?
Yeah, sure. So it depends on the complexity of the task. So because it can support multiple rounds, if it's a simpler task, it could be practically the exact same time if it's one turn, if the LM already has the information, like in its pre-trained knowledge. And then if it's more than that, then for each round, it takes like a few more seconds because it calls the critic and then it calls the LM to regenerate the answer. So yeah, if it's a very many rounds, then it might take much more time.
All right, thank you.
So
Yeah, it asks you to take more time. You really need the time to do multi-round retrieval.
the mic is.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Thank you for the presentation. You said that the first step in your SIMRAG framework is LLM generation without context retrieval. And let's imagine that we have a question, the answer to which lies beyond the training set of both LLM and critique model. And when we ask LLM this question, it imagines the answer and the rationale behind this answer. How does the critique model understand that the answer is wrong?
It's all from training data. So we have a lot of label training data, right? Remember when we do self-practice, we have question, documents retrieved, and rationale provided by the language model, and label, and the answer, and a label. And we train the model. That's why the critic knows. If the training data has cases where there is no retrieved documents, but the rationale and the language model is labeled as accepted, then the critic model will learn those patterns. Does it make sense?
Okay, I understood. Thank you.
Yeah. The self-practice generates a large amount of training data to train the model.
So just one quick question.
Hello. Do you think your method can apply to multimodal scenarios? After all, the intervention of the visual information will make the discrimination more difficult and lead to more hallucinations. In multimodal scenarios, your method.
Yeah, I think this method's widely applicable to really any type of tool calling, not just search. And the key here is that the self-practicing stage to generate the data uses the same inner monologue chains as during the inference time. And so if you include images in both the training data for the critic and then the same, like similar idea in the inference time, the critic can still learn from the training data to predict during inference time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's thank our speakers again. And then the last speaker of this